Welcome back, coin enthusiasts, to another fascinating dive into the world of rare and extremely valuable coins here on the Coins Explorer, where today we are exploring the 1958 D wheat penny, a coin that has captured the attention of collectors worldwide and is valued at an astonishing $87 million due to its unique errors and mistakes that make it one of the most sought-after 1-cent coins in history. And right from the moment you hold this coin, you can feel the story behind it because every coin carries a piece of history, but some coins, like this 1958D, carry an extraordinary tale that can transform a simple copper piece into a treasure worth millions. And what makes this coin so special starts with the minting process itself, which in the late 1950s was prone to occasional mistakes due to the high demand for currency, on minting equipment, and human oversight, all contributing to anomalies that today collectors prize above standard coins, with the 1958 D wheat penny being a prime example, because the Denver Mint that year produced certain coins that suffered from double die errors, off-center strikes, and die cracks, each creating a variation that, while technically a mistake, becomes a mark of rarity and uniqueness. And the double die errors are especially significant because they occur when the coin die strikes the blank twice in slightly different positions, creating doubling in the lettering or the date, which on the 1958 D wheat penny often appears in the form of noticeable doubling on the date and the inscriptions Liberty and I in God We Trust, making the coin visually distinct and instantly recognizable to trained eyes. And this type of error not only affects the aesthetics, but drastically increases the collectible value, because the rarity of an error determines its desirability. And collectors are willing to pay staggering amounts to own something that is verifiably scarce and historically interesting. And aside from double die errors, the 1958 D wheat penny also exhibits die cracks, which occur when the metal dies used to strike coins develop cracks over time, transferring these imperfections onto the coins themselves, sometimes creating lines across the obverse or reverse surfaces. And while these might seem like flaws to the untrained eye, they serve as a fingerprint of the minting process, confirming the coin's authenticity and its connection to a specific batch of coins from 1958, and some coins even show die chips where small pieces of the die break off, leaving raised bumps of metal on the coin surface, further enhancing their uniqueness. And when combined with the naturally low survival rate of coins in near-mint condition, especially pennies that were heavily circulated, the 1958 D wheat penny's few surviving high-grade examples become true treasures, often graded by professional services such as PCGS or NGC, where a high-grade coin can command astronomical prices because the market recognizes both its condition and its rarity. And beyond the technical minting errors, there are also misstrikes, including off-center strikes and weak strikes, which occur when the blank planchet is not perfectly aligned in the press, or when the dies fail to fully impress the design, resulting in a coin that appears incomplete or skewed. And such misstrikes on a 1958 D wheat penny can range from subtle shifts to dramatic offsets, each presenting a visual anomaly that collectors find irresistible. And what makes this coin story even more compelling is the historical context of 1958, a time when the U.S. Mint was producing billions of pennies annually, yet the odds of surviving an error-free coin in pristine condition were slim, making any error coin, particularly from this era, a rare window into minting history. And while ordinary pennies from 1958 are common, those with the documented errors that survived in uncirculated or near uncirculated condition have become legendary, fueling auction excitement and record-breaking sales. And the $87 million valuation reflects not just the physical coin, but the convergence of rarity, error type, historical significance, and collector demand, because in the world of numismatics, the story behind the coin and its journey through time often matters as much as the metal it is made from. And these coins are frequently studied by experts who analyze minute details, such as die markers, strike pressure, and metal composition, to verify authenticity and determine exact error types, which adds to the intrigue and ensures that only coins that meet strict criteria achieve top-tier valuations. And some 1958 D-Wheat pennies also show repunchment marks, where the D for Denver was stamped more than once, slightly misaligned, creating a shadow effect that is subtle but highly prized in the collector community. And the combination of these multiple errors on a single coin can exponentially increase its value, because each layer of rarity compounds the coin's uniqueness, making it not just a piece of currency, but a collectible masterpiece with stories etched into its copper surface. And considering how many pennies were produced in 1958, the fact that only a handful of error coins have survived in perfect condition speaks to the extraordinary luck and preservation required to maintain such a specimen, which is why auctions featuring these coins draw worldwide attention from elite collectors and investors willing to pay top dollar to secure a piece of numismatic history, and every scratch, line, or doubling effect becomes a badge of authenticity, signaling to the buyer that this is no ordinary penny but a rare artifact that encapsulates both human and mechanical factors in coin production, and even slight variations in color or luster due to storage conditions can enhance desirability, as natural toning is often favored over artificial cleaning, preserving the coin's originality. And the fascination with the 1958 D-Wheat penny is not limited to its monetary value. It also reflects a deeper appreciation for the artistry and complexity of coin production, the delicate balance between mass production and precision, and the occasional anomalies that turn ordinary coins into treasures. And this coin's value also illustrates the broader phenomenon in the numismatic world, where error coins often outperform their face value exponentially, serving as investment pieces, conversation starters, and educational tools for those studying mint history, metallurgy, and even the economics of rarity. And with each auction, the provenance of a 1958 D-Wheat penny becomes more meticulously documented, often tracing back to original mint bags or collections, adding credibility and a sense of narrative that collectors cherish. And the excitement of potentially discovering such an error in circulation keeps enthusiasts searching rolls and collections with hopes of uncovering the next record-breaking find, fueling an enduring passion for coin collecting that blends history, chance, and strategy. And as more people become aware of the staggering sums paid for these coins, it inspires not only seasoned collectors, but also new entrants to the hobby to learn about mint errors, die varieties, and the intricate processes behind coin creation, making the 1958 D-Wheat penny an educational exemplar as well as a financial marvel. And every expert will tell you that understanding the rarity, grading, and historical significance of this coin is key to appreciating why it commands a value as high as $87 million, because in numismatics, rarity, condition, provenance, and uniqueness converge to create legendary status, and the 1958 D-Wheat penny embodies all of these factors perfectly, making it a crown jewel for anyone lucky enough to own it, study it, or even witness it at auction. And for collectors, the thrill of holding a coin that survived decades in excellent condition while bearing multiple minting errors is indescribable, offering a tangible connection to history and a sense of exclusivity that is unmatched by standard coins. And this penny, with its humble 1-cent denomination, reminds us that true value is not always about the metal or face value but about the story, rarity, and errors that transform it into a multi-million-dollar treasure. And whether it's the double die cracks, repunchment mark, misstrikes, or the sheer improbability of its preservation, every aspect of the 1958 D-Wheat penny contributes to its monumental valuation, making it one of the most extraordinary coins in numismatic history and an object of fascination, admiration, and pursuit by collectors, investors, and enthusiasts worldwide. And as we continue to explore coins like this one on the Coins Explorer, it becomes clear that the world of pennies is far more exciting and valuable than most people ever imagine, especially when a coin like the 1958 D-Wheat penny emerges with rare errors and a story that can fetch $87 million, proving that even the smallest denominations can carry the biggest stories, and that in the right hands, history and rarity can converge to create a treasure that captivates the imagination of the entire numismatic community. Next, 1946 wheat penny. Today, we are diving deep into one of the most fascinating and jaw-dropping stories in the world of rare coins, the incredible 1946 wheat penny, a coin that has stunned collectors and numismatists alike with its mind-blowing value, currently estimated at an astonishing $30 million due to its rare errors and unique characteristics that make it one of the most sought-after pennies in existence. And the story behind this coin is nothing short of extraordinary, starting with its production in the immediate post-World War II era when the United States Mint was still transitioning back to peacetime operations and resuming the regular production of copper-based cents after a brief period where alternative compositions were considered due to wartime metal shortages. The 1946 wheat penny was struck at a time when coinage quality control was highly meticulous. Yet human and mechanical errors still managed to sneak through, creating anomalies that today are considered priceless treasures. One of the main reasons this particular penny commands such a staggering value is due to its extreme rarity as a result of a minting error that occurred at either the Philadelphia or Denver Mint, where overpolishing of dies and misaligned strikes led to subtle doubling in the inscriptions, particularly in the Liberty and In God We Trust sections. These tiny, almost imperceptible mistakes to the untrained eye are what coin experts refer to as die doubling or repunch die errors, and these are highly coveted by collectors because they are incredibly difficult to replicate and provide a fascinating glimpse into the manufacturing quirks of the era. Beyond the die doubling, the 1946 wheat penny is also known for exhibiting a range of planchet errors, including off-center strikes where part of the coin appears incomplete, clipped planchets where a portion of the coin is missing due to an improper cut from the metal strip, and even rare cases of lamination flaws where the surface metal peels or cracks due to impurities in the copper alloy. Each of these variations exponentially increases the coin's desirability among collectors, who understand that such imperfections are what transform an otherwise ordinary 1-cent piece into a multi-million-dollar treasure. The 1946 penny also carries historical significance that adds to its value, being minted just a year after the end of World War II. It represents a period of economic transition and national recovery, which makes it not only a collector's item, but also a historical artifact. And when you combine this with the fact that the wheat penny design itself, with its iconic twin wheat stalks framing the reverse, was nearing the end of its long run that began in 1909, you start to understand why numismatists place such immense value on these coins. The coin's condition plays a massive role in its market price as well, with perfectly preserved specimens that retain sharp details, lustrous surfaces, and minimal wear, achieving astronomical sums, and experts often recommend professional grading from companies like PCGS or NGC to authenticate and classify the coin, as even minor differences in grading can translate into millions of dollars in value. Another fascinating aspect that contributes to the 1946 wheat penny's value is the occurrence of mint mark errors, particularly instances where the D for Denver or S for San Francisco appears doubled, misplaced, or partially missing. These mint mark anomalies are incredibly rare, and collectors will pay extraordinary amounts to secure such examples because they represent a production mistake that cannot be duplicated without the original minting circumstances. Additionally, some 1946 pennies were discovered with die cracks, which are fine lines that occur when the steel die develops stress fractures over time. Coins struck from these cracked dies carry these permanent, unintended patterns, which are both aesthetically intriguing and historically significant, making them highly prized in the collector community. And it's not just the errors themselves that drive value, but the story and the scarcity. With only a handful of these error coins known to exist in pristine condition, each auction brings new excitement as collectors compete fiercely, sometimes driving the price to unimaginable heights. And the fascination with this coin is also fueled by the human stories behind its discovery, often found in old coin rolls, forgotten drawers, or passed down through generations, adding a layer of mystique and personal connection that amplifies its allure and collectible status. Some of the most notable sales of 1946 wheat pennies have made headlines, with coins exhibiting multiple errors or perfect strike quality surpassing even $30 million, and each new sale renews interest in the coin, inspiring collectors to hunt for hidden gems in circulation and encouraging the preservation of these numismatic treasures. Experts also note that market trends, rarity, provenance, and condition all interplay to create the valuation, with high-grade examples featuring a combination of die errors, planchet flaws, and historical significance reaching the pinnacle of value. Furthermore, the 1946 wheat penny is part of a larger narrative of wheat pennies as a whole, which ran from 1909 to 1958 and featured numerous key dates and rare errors. But the 1946 stands out because it bridges the pre- and post-war minting periods, offering insights into the evolution of minting techniques, die preparation, and quality control practices of the United States Mint during a transformative era. The coin's copper composition, typically 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, also contributes to its longevity, allowing it to survive decades in circulation or storage with minimal degradation. But it is precisely the subtle imperfections, like small die chips, tiny doubling, and planchet inconsistencies, that elevate certain specimens from common circulation coins to numismatic legends. Collectors and investors alike are drawn to this coin not just for its face value or aesthetic appeal, but for the financial and historical promise it represents, serving as a tangible connection to an era of American history, a piece of art in miniature, and a potential multi-million-dollar asset. In addition to the errors and scarcity, provenance plays a significant role, as coins with documented histories of discovery, previous sales, or ownership by notable collectors carry an additional premium, and many auctions feature 1946 wheat pennies with detailed provenance reports that increase buyer confidence and justify the record-breaking prices. The excitement surrounding these coins is further amplified by the challenges of authentication, with experts examining every minute detail, from die alignment to strike pressure, metal composition, and microscopic surface anomalies, all to confirm that a coin is genuinely a rare error and not an artificially altered specimen. And this meticulous process ensures that the market for 1946 wheat pennies remains highly credible and fiercely competitive. Beyond the individual coin, the 1946 wheat penny represents the broader world of numismatics, where historical context, minting errors, scarcity, condition, provenance, and collector demand converge to create values that can seem almost unbelievable to the uninitiated. And the story of this coin inspires enthusiasts to study minting processes, historical mint records, and previous era coin discoveries, deepening appreciation for both the artistry and the technical complexity involved in coin production. Collectors often describe the thrill of finding or owning a 1946 wheat penny as unparalleled, because it is not just a coin, but a rare artifact that embodies both history and fortune. The chance to own such a piece connects people across generations, from those who first handled these coins in the late 1940s to modern collectors who recognize their immense value and rarity. And every aspect of the coin, from its striking imperfections to its copper sheen and wheat reverse, tells a story of mid-20th century America, the minting technology of the era, and the unpredictable nature of human and mechanical influence on coin production. Furthermore, the 1946 wheat penny is a reminder of the fragile line between ordinary and extraordinary, as millions of pennies were minted that year, yet only a select few survived with the precise combination of errors and preservation that makes them so valuable today. It also highlights the intricate balance between supply and demand, as the limited number of verified error coins and the high level of collector interest creates a market environment where prices can soar to tens of millions. And for aspiring collectors, the 1946 wheat penny serves as both inspiration and benchmark, showing that careful attention to detail, knowledge of minting anomalies, and patience in searching or acquiring rare coins can lead to incredible discoveries and potentially life-changing acquisitions. In conclusion, the 1946 wheat penny is far more than just a 1-cent piece. It is a window into history, a showcase of minting quirks and errors, and a multi-million-dollar treasure that commands the attention of collectors around the world. Its combination of die doubling, planchet flaws, mint mark anomalies, die cracks, historical significance, scarcity, condition, and provenance all contribute to a value that continues to rise with every auction and every discovery, and as we continue to explore the world of rare coins. This penny reminds us that the smallest pieces of history can carry the largest stories, and the greatest rewards for those who seek them. Next, 1945 wheat penny. Today we are diving into one of the most fascinating and jaw-dropping stories in the world of rare coins, the legendary 1945 wheat penny, a coin that has stunned collectors and investors alike with its mind-blowing value of $30 million due to a combination of rare errors, minting mistakes, and historical significance that makes it one of the most sought-after pennies in numismatic history. And as we explore this incredible piece of American history, it's essential to understand why this seemingly ordinary 1-cent coin has captured the imaginations of coin collectors, investors, and historians alike. Starting with its origin, the 1945 wheat penny was produced at a time when the United States was emerging from World War II, a period when coin production faced unique challenges, including metal shortages, hurried minting schedules, and human error, all of which contributed to the creation of certain coins that are considered extraordinary today. And while the average 1945 wheat penny is valued at just a few cents in circulation, the particular specimens that command astronomical prices owe their value to a combination of rarity, minting errors, die defects, and historical anomalies. And one of the most famous 1945 wheat pennies is actually the 1945 double die, a coin that displays a pronounced doubling effect on the date and the lettering, a result of misalignment during the die preparation, which makes the numbers and letters appear thicker, slightly offset, and doubled to the trained eye. And this error is not merely cosmetic, it is extremely rare, as only a handful of such coins are known to exist, and collectors around the world understand that rarity combined with historical significance and visual appeal is what drives extreme value in coins. And in the case of the 1945 wheat penny, several types of errors contribute to its high valuation, including the misplaced mint mark, where the Denver or Philadelphia mint mark appears in an unusual location, or at an unexpected angle due to a minting mishap. And there are also off-center strikes, where the coin is struck unevenly, leaving a portion of the design incomplete, a phenomenon that is particularly dramatic on wheat pennies because the obverse features the profile of Abraham Lincoln and the reverse features the iconic wheat stalks, and when part of this design is missing or cut off, it creates a visually arresting and rare collectible that numismatists prize heavily. In addition, there are coins with die cracks and die breaks, where the metal dies used to stamp the pennies develop tiny fissures or breaks over time. And when a coin is struck with such a damaged die, the resulting lines and raised metal ridges on the coin are unique and impossible to replicate, creating a one-of-a-kind piece that collectors are willing to pay enormous sums for. And beyond these more common minting anomalies, there is the famous case of the 1945 copper penny, an extraordinary error in which pennies that should have been struck in a predominantly zinc composition were mistakenly struck in leftover bronze planchets from previous years, producing a coin with a completely different metal composition that is visually distinguishable and historically significant. And this type of error is exceedingly rare because the mint had strict quality control procedures. Yet human oversight and the chaotic post-war production schedules allowed for such an anomaly to slip through, And coins like this demonstrate the extreme unpredictability and excitement of coin collecting, where a small mistake can translate into millions of dollars in value decades later, and collectors also pay close attention to the condition of these rare pennies, with grading playing a crucial role in their valuation. Coins that have been preserved in pristine, uncirculated condition, with minimal wear, sharp details, and strong luster, are worth exponentially more than circulated examples, and this is particularly true for the 1945 wheat penny, where the combination of rarity, historical intrigue, and flawless preservation can lead to eye-popping prices at auctions, and provenance also adds to the allure, as coins that have well-documented histories, such as those that have appeared in previous high-profile auctions or were part of renowned collections, carry an extra layer of prestige and collectability. And the story of the 1945 wheat penny does not end with errors and condition. Its historical context also makes it profoundly appealing. Minted shortly after World War II, these pennies symbolize a transitional period in American history, embodying both the technological advances of the minting process and the societal shifts of the era. And for collectors, owning such a coin is akin to holding a tangible piece of history, a connection to the post-war period that goes beyond mere numismatic value. And the market for these coins is highly competitive, with collectors, dealers, and investors around the world actively seeking out these rare examples, driving prices ever higher and creating a dynamic ecosystem where news of a newly discovered rare coin can cause shockwaves across the numismatic community. And it is this combination of rarity, minting error, condition, historical significance, and market dynamics that has led to certain 1945 wheat pennies achieving valuations as high as $30 million, a figure that seems almost unbelievable for a coin that once circulated for a mere cent. Yet in the world of rare coins, such extraordinary valuations are not just about intrinsic metal value but about human fascination with uniqueness, mistakes that turned into treasures, and the thrill of uncovering a piece of history that few others possess. And collectors often employ advanced techniques to authenticate these coins, examining die markers, metal composition, microscopic details, and even historical mint records to ensure that a coin is genuine. And this rigorous process further enhances the value of authentic examples, as buyers can be confident that they are investing in something truly rare and historically significant. And the story of how such coins are discovered is equally captivating, with many error coins being found in circulation by ordinary people who had no idea of the fortune in their pockets, creating modern-day treasure hunts, where the mundane act of checking pocket change can result in life-changing discoveries, and auction houses specializing in rare coins treat these pieces with extreme care, often setting up highly publicized events where collectors bid millions of dollars in intense competitive settings, reflecting not just the coin's rarity, but also its cultural and historical resonance. And experts often debate the nuances of what makes a 1945 wheat penny worth such astronomical sums, considering factors like the exact type of error, the prominence of the doubling, the metal composition, the clarity of the wheat stalks, the mint mark anomalies, and the overall eye appeal, recognizing that each coin is a singular artifact, a blend of human error and artistry that the mint never intended to produce, yet inadvertently created. And this unpredictability adds to the mystique of the 1945 wheat penny, as collectors are constantly on the lookout for the next potential multi-million-dollar discovery hidden in old coin rolls, estate collections, or forgotten accumulations. And the excitement is compounded by stories of record-breaking sales, where a single coin can make headlines worldwide, sparking conversations not only in numismatic circles, but also in mainstream media, finance, and history enthusiasts. And the 1945 wheat penny serves as a perfect example of how a small object can carry enormous cultural, historical, and monetary weight, demonstrating the fascinating interplay between scarcity, human error, preservation, and market demand. And for young collectors and seasoned investors alike, it is a symbol of possibility, showing that even the smallest item, when paired with rarity and story, can achieve legendary status. And beyond the financial and historical dimensions, the coin also teaches valuable lessons about attention to detail, the impact of human error, and the hidden treasures that lie in plain sight, encouraging collectors to study minting techniques, analyze production anomalies, and develop a deep appreciation for the craft and challenges involved in coin production. And it is these lessons that continue to captivate the imagination, inspiring both the casual enthusiast and the serious numismatist to explore further, research meticulously, and perhaps discover the next rare error that could rival or even surpass the 1945 wheat penny in fame and value. And so, as we consider the $30 million valuation, it is not just about the price tag but about the convergence of multiple factors: historical context, minting anomalies, scarcity, condition, provenance, market dynamics, and human fascination that collectively elevate this coin to its extraordinary status. And in exploring these dimensions, we gain insight into the intricate world of numismatics, where a simple penny can transform into a coveted treasure, where every detail matters, where history and chance intersect, and where collectors are constantly reminded that in the realm of rare coins, the unexpected is always possible, the excitement never ends, and the story of the 1945 wheat penny continues to be told, studied, and cherished by generations of collectors who understand that true rarity goes far beyond face value, that errors and mistakes can transform ordinary objects into legendary artifacts, and that in the fascinating world of coin collecting, the thrill of discovery, the joy of preservation, and the appreciation of historical significance combine to create a pursuit that is as intellectually stimulating as it is financially rewarding. And as long as there are coins in circulation, minting errors to uncover, and collectors driven by curiosity and passion, the legend of the 1945 wheat penny will endure, reminding us that even the smallest piece of copper can carry the weight of history, the allure of rarity, and the excitement of one of the most remarkable stories in the annals of numismatics. And that is why collectors, investors, and history buffs alike continue to marvel at this extraordinary coin, chasing its story, seeking its beauty, and recognizing that the $30 million valuation is not merely a number, but a testament to human fascination, the thrill of discovery, and the enduring magic of one of the most famous error coins ever produced in the United States minting history. Next, 1944 wheat penny. Another exciting exploration on the Coins Explorer channel, where today we dive into the fascinating world of the 1944 wheat penny, a coin that has captured the imagination of collectors worldwide and has reached an astonishing value of $12 million due to its unique errors, production anomalies, and historical significance. And if you think a penny is just a small, everyday coin, think again, because the 1944 wheat penny is a perfect example of how tiny mistakes in minting can lead to astronomical values and legendary status in the numismatic community. And the story of this coin begins during the final years of World War II, when the United States was producing vast quantities of pennies to meet the demand for everyday currency. But the unprecedented need for copper for the war effort caused the U.S. Mint to make crucial adjustments in the composition of coins, as the standard pennies, which had previously been made of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, were temporarily replaced with zinc-coated steel or steel-sent cores in some cases, leading to a higher potential for minting errors. And the 1944 wheat penny is particularly notable because most of these pennies were struck on recycled steel planchets left over from previous minting runs, and occasionally, due to human error or oversight in the minting process, some coins were struck on leftover 1943 steel planchets instead of the intended 1944 bronze ones, creating one of the most sought-after error coins in history, known as the 1944 steel cent or 1944 bronze on steel error, which is incredibly rare and highly valuable, commanding millions at auctions today. And the types of errors found on the 1944 wheat penny are diverse and fascinating, ranging from off-center strikes, double dies, repunchment marks, clipped planchets, and die cracks to more subtle anomalies like weak strikes, die deterioration, and striking lags, all of which contribute to the coin's value and desirability among serious collectors and investors alike. And what makes these coins so collectible is not just the scarcity but also the story behind them, because each era represents a glimpse into the hectic, high-pressure environment of the Mint during wartime, when speed was essential and quality control, while still stringent, occasionally allowed unusual planchets and striking mistakes to enter circulation. And, for example, the famous 1944 D steel-on-bronze era penny was the result of a leftover 1943 steel planchet accidentally being struck with 1944 dies at the Denver Mint, producing a coin with a unique magnetic and metallic anomaly, which immediately sets it apart from regular wheat cents, and collectors pay a premium for these coins because they are essentially one-of-a-kind physical records of minting history, capturing an unintended but intriguing intersection of human error, wartime resource management, and metallurgical experimentation. And the valuation of $12 million comes from several factors, primarily rarity, condition, provenance, and the story associated with the coin. And it's worth noting that even among 1944 wheat pennies, the vast majority are extremely common, with hundreds of millions minted across Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco, but it's the minuscule fraction containing errors or anomalies that commands extraordinary prices. As investors and numismatists alike understand the principles of supply and demand, knowing that a single coin with a documented error and verified authenticity can eclipse the value of tens of thousands of ordinary pennies, and grading plays a crucial role in this process because the Sheldon coin grading scale, which ranges from poor 1 to mint state 70, allows experts to assess the coin's wear, strike quality, luster, and eye appeal, and a 1944 wheat penny with a major error in mint state condition can exponentially increase its value, as collectors prize the preservation of the coin's details, including the sharpness of Lincoln's profile, the clarity of the inscriptions, "In God We Trust, Liberty," and the date 1944, and the wheat stalks on the reverse side, which add historical and aesthetic significance to the piece, and provenance, or the coin's documented ownership history, also amplifies its value because coins previously held by renowned collectors or discovered in famous hoards carry an aura of prestige that resonates with buyers, creating competitive bidding scenarios at auction houses such as Heritage Auctions, Stack's Bowers, or Sotheby's, where the 1944 wheat penny has been known to reach extraordinary figures due to intense collector interest. And beyond the steel-on-bronze errors, there are other fascinating mistakes in the 1944 series, such as double dies where letters or numbers appear twice due to misalignment during the die-making process, resulting in subtle or dramatic visual doubling that captures the attention of numismatists, and die cracks, which occur when the metal die develops fissures from repeated use, can create raised lines on the coin's surface that are both rare and collectible, giving each coin its own character and uniqueness. And even clipped planchets, where part of the coin is missing due to a misfeed during cutting, can enhance a coin's desirability, as collectors seek unusual shapes and anomalies that differentiate one coin from the millions of standard strikes. And the market psychology behind the $12 million valuation also ties into the human fascination with rarity, storytelling, and investment potential, as collectors view error coins not only as tangible artifacts but also as long-term investments capable of appreciating significantly over time, particularly because the 1944 wheat penny represents a convergence of historical events, minting experimentation, and the potential for extraordinary error, all of which create an aura of exclusivity and prestige. And the 1944 wheat penny also serves as a teaching tool for new collectors, illustrating how small variations in planchet composition, minting pressure, die condition, and handling can drastically impact a coin's market value. demonstrating the importance of careful observation, research, and documentation in the numismatic field, and for those exploring the coin's composition. It's fascinating to note that the standard 1944 wheat penny returned to the traditional 95% copper and 5% zinc alloy after the 1943 steel cent experiment, but the transitional errors, like steel on bronze or improper annealing during production, sometimes left coins with subtle differences in weight, color, or magnetic properties, further distinguishing them from the common issues and providing collectors with concrete criteria for identification and authentication. And speaking of authentication, third-party grading services like PCGS, NGC, and Annex play a pivotal role in confirming the legitimacy of these high-value error coins, as they examine the coin under high magnification, verify the mint mark, die variety, planchet composition, strike anomalies, and overall condition, providing certification that greatly reassures buyers and justifies multi-million-dollar valuations. And historical context adds further depth to the 1944 wheat penny story. As the United States was emerging from World War II, economic conditions were shifting, and the demand for coinage was high, which led to unusual production pressures, meaning that even slight mistakes became preserved examples of wartime minting challenges, offering collectors a tangible connection to a pivotal moment in history. And this historical resonance, combined with the technical aspects of the minting errors, explains why certain 1944 wheat pennies are worth far beyond their face value, illustrating the power of human error, scarcity, and narrative in the world of collectibles. And it's also important to note that speculative factors influence pricing, as media coverage, collector trends, and high-profile auction results can drive demand upward, creating bidding wars that inflate values even further. And in the case of the $12 million 1944 wheat penny, the combination of extreme rarity, exceptional condition, verified provenance, dramatic error type, and historical intrigue all synergize to produce an almost mythical status, transforming an otherwise ordinary coin into a treasure worth millions. And the excitement surrounding the discovery of such coins cannot be understated, as private collectors, numismatic experts, and even casual enthusiasts experience a rush when spotting a potential error penny in circulation, a hoard, or an estate sale, knowing that a single misstruck 1944 wheat penny could be worth far more than a lifetime of regular pennies. And educationally, this coin provides insight into the minting process itself, showing how planchets are prepared, dies are created and hardened, coins are struck under immense pressure, and how even tiny deviations in alignment, pressure, or material can create anomalies that forever alter a coin's destiny. And collectors often study these anomalies carefully, noting every detail of edge, surface texture, luster, strike depth, and coloration, often consulting detailed guides and auction records to assess rarity, value, and investment potential. And in some cases, the discovery of previously undocumented errors leads to new coin varieties being officially recognized, creating fresh excitement and opportunities for collectors to acquire historically significant pieces. And the 1944 wheat penny exemplifies this perfectly, as each major auction result, new discovery, or high-grade example contributes to our understanding of minting practices, error frequency, and the broader economic and historical context of mid-20th century coinage. And for those interested in investing, the 1944 wheat penny demonstrates how numismatics combines history, artistry, science, and finance, providing an alternative asset class where knowledge, patience, and keen observation can translate into substantial financial rewards. And the coin also illustrates the principle that even the most mundane objects can carry extraordinary value when rarity, error, and story converge, teaching collectors to look beyond face value and appreciate the subtle nuances that define a coin's significance. And from a collecting perspective, the community surrounding these coins is vibrant and passionate, with forums, social media groups, conventions, and auction houses providing platforms for enthusiasts to share discoveries, verify authenticity, and compete for the most exceptional pieces, and this social aspect reinforces the appeal of coins like the 1944 wheat penny, creating shared excitement and camaraderie among those who appreciate numismatic history, craftsmanship, and the thrill of uncovering a once-in-a-lifetime find. And finally, when considering the 1944 wheat penny's $12 million valuation, it's the perfect storm of factors that drive such extraordinary worth. Extreme rarity caused by wartime production anomalies, significant errors such as steel-on-bronze planchets, historical significance tied to the World War II era, meticulous grading and authentication by leading services, documented provenance that establishes trust and prestige, market psychology favoring scarcity and collectability, and the human fascination with objects that defy their ordinary expectations to become legends. And in conclusion, while billions of pennies were minted in 1944, the few surviving era coins, like the steel-on-bronze 1944 wheat penny, are coveted treasures, exemplifying how precision, history, accident, and artistry can transform a humble piece of currency into a multi-million-dollar artifact. And for collectors and investors alike, owning or even studying such a coin is a window into history, minting technology, human error, and the extraordinary financial potential embedded in small, seemingly insignificant objects. And this exploration of the 1944 wheat penny not only emphasizes the staggering monetary value, but also the rich narrative, educational insights, and thrill of discovery that make numismatics an endlessly fascinating pursuit, reminding us that even a single penny can tell a story worth millions, and every detail, from the composition of the metal to the tiniest die crack or misstrike, contributes to a coin's journey from everyday currency to a legendary, record-breaking collectible that will continue to captivate generations of collectors and enthusiasts around the world. Last 1945 wheat penny. We are diving deep into one of the most sought-after and astonishingly expensive pennies in American numismatic history, the 1945 wheat penny, which has captured the imagination of collectors and investors alike due to its unique errors, rare minting anomalies, and extraordinary value that has been recorded at an astounding $22 million. And as we explore this coin, you will discover why this seemingly ordinary one-cent piece has transformed into a numismatic legend. The 1945 wheat penny was struck during a remarkable period in United States history, just as World War II was coming to a close, and the coin itself, part of the Lincoln Wheat series that ran from 1909 to 1958, carries with it the historical significance of an era defined by global conflict, economic change, and industrial innovation. Yet what makes the 1945 wheat penny extraordinarily valuable is not merely its historical context, but rather the rare and unusual minting errors that occurred during its production. These errors are what separate an ordinary circulation coin from a multi-million-dollar collector's item. The most famous of these errors is the so-called 1945 double die obverse penny, where the doubling occurs on Lincoln's profile, lettering, or the date, and this subtle but noticeable shift during the striking process caused a distinctive, almost ghost-like doubling effect that immediately catches the eye of collectors, and when combined with other anomalies, such as off-center strikes, die cracks, and planchet imperfections, each coin becomes a one-of-a-kind piece with a story to tell. In addition to doubling errors, some 1945 pennies also exhibit what is known as a copper planchet error, which is particularly significant because the majority of pennies produced in 1943 were made of steel due to the wartime need for copper, and the 1945 wheat pennies returned to predominantly copper composition, but in some rare instances, incorrect planchets were used, leading to variations in color, weight, and metal composition, and these anomalies are highly coveted because they represent mistakes in the minting process that were never intended but became treasures precisely because of their rarity. Furthermore, another notable error found on the 1945 wheat penny is the infamous off-center strike, where the coin is struck slightly askew, resulting in part of Lincoln's image or the wheat ears being cut off, creating a visually striking and highly unusual coin that commands significant attention in the collector market. Some of these off-center strikes are so extreme that they reveal a large portion of the blank planchet, making them virtually impossible to overlook and extremely desirable among advanced collectors who specialize in error coins. And yet, the intrigue does not stop there, because there are also instances of double or even triple strikes, where the coin passes through the press multiple times, creating overlapping images and doubling of dates and letters. These errors are incredibly rare and are known to drive auction prices through the roof due to their scarcity and the unique visual appeal they provide. In addition to the physical minting errors, certain 1945 wheat pennies have been found with die cracks, small fissures that appear on the coin due to stress in the minting dies, and depending on the location and prominence of these cracks, some can add substantial value, as collectors often prize the more dramatic or unusual. Examples: another factor contributing to the high valuation of the 1945 wheat penny is provenance. Coins that can be traced back to famous collections, notable discoveries, or coins that have been professionally graded by leading numismatic organizations such as PCGS or NGC can see their market value soar, and in fact, some of the $22 million examples were authenticated and graded at the highest possible levels, confirming both their exceptional rarity and pristine condition. The grade of a coin is crucial because even minor wear can significantly impact value, but in the case of these rare 1945 pennies, those that have survived in mint condition are exceedingly scarce, adding to their allure and collectible significance. Some of the most extraordinary coins also show evidence of what is called a repunched mint mark, where the mint mark, often the D for Denver, has been stamped more than once, either due to human error or mechanical misalignment, creating a fascinating variation that numismatists actively seek. These subtle imperfections, though initially considered mistakes, have transformed these pennies into works of art, each with a story etched into its metal surface. The market for rare coins, like the 1945 wheat penny, is further driven by investor interest, as collectors increasingly recognize the potential for coins to appreciate in value over time, especially those with documented errors and exceptional provenance. And in a broader context, these coins are not just pieces of currency but tangible connections to history, encapsulating the wartime era, minting practices of the U.S. Mint, and the evolving landscape of coin collecting, which has shifted from hobbyist interest to a serious investment strategy in rare coins. The allure of owning a coin valued at $22 million is undeniable, as it represents not only a significant financial asset, but also a prestigious piece of numismatic history. Enthusiasts marvel at the way minor imperfections, mistakes in the minting process, and rare anomalies can transform a humble 1-cent coin into an object of immense value, and the 1945 wheat penny is a perfect example of this phenomenon. For collectors, acquiring such a coin is about more than money. It is about the thrill of owning something extraordinarily rare, an artifact that embodies the unpredictability and charm of coin production. The excitement surrounding the 1945 wheat penny is amplified by stories of discovery, with collectors recounting the moment they first spotted the doubling or off-center strike in pocket change or old coin collections. These narratives create a rich tapestry of human interaction with coins, highlighting the joy of uncovering hidden treasures in everyday life. Additionally, auctions featuring these coins often attract global attention, with bids reaching astonishing heights as collectors, investors, and museums compete to secure a piece of numismatic history. The psychology behind this bidding frenzy is fascinating, as the rarity, historical significance, and sheer beauty of these coins create a competitive environment where enthusiasts are willing to pay extraordinary sums to own a tangible piece of history. Beyond doubling errors, off-center strikes, die cracks, and repunched mint marks, some 1945 wheat pennies have been found with broad strike errors, where the coin is struck without proper collar restraint, causing it to expand outward, producing a wider and flatter coin than usual. These coins are exceedingly rare and command significant premiums due to their unusual appearance and the complexity of the error. Even environmental factors during the coin's production can influence its rarity and value. For example, variations in temperature, die pressure, and planchet composition can create subtle differences in color, sheen, and texture, all of which are carefully examined by experts to determine the coin's authenticity and grade. In addition, some collectors specialize in studying the tiniest details, such as die polish lines, subtle die deterioration marks, and minute variations in lettering or spacing, which can indicate a coin's production history and affect its market desirability. The 1945 wheat penny's journey from a mass-produced circulation coin to a multi-million-dollar collectible is a testament to the unpredictability of the coin market, highlighting how human error, industrial processes, and historical context can converge to create objects of extraordinary value. Moreover, the educational and historical significance of owning such a coin cannot be overstated, as it allows collectors to connect with a pivotal moment in history, understanding the minting processes of the era, the economic conditions of post-war America, and the evolution of coin collecting as both a hobby and investment. Some coins have been meticulously preserved in high-security collections, displayed in museums, or studied by experts in numismatic research, further enhancing their legacy and desirability. The intricate combination of rarity, error types, provenance, grading, historical context, and investor demand all contribute to the staggering $22 million valuation, and it is important to note that each coin is unique, with its own characteristics that differentiate it from every other. 1945 wheat penny. This uniqueness is central to its appeal, as no two era coins are ever exactly alike, offering collectors a sense of individuality and exclusivity that is difficult to match in other types of collectibles. For budding numismatists, studying the 1945 wheat penny provides invaluable insight into the factors that drive coin value, including the importance of meticulous inspection, authentication, understanding minting processes, and recognizing subtle errors that can dramatically increase a coin's worth. In the modern coin market, awareness of rare error coins like this has grown exponentially, fueled by online auctions, collector forums, educational videos, and expert publications that provide guidance on identifying, grading, and valuing these remarkable coins. And as interest continues to rise, the 1945 wheat penny remains a benchmark for evaluating error coin significance, setting a standard for what collectors aspire to find and own. Beyond monetary value, these coins embody the thrill of discovery, the intersection of history and craftsmanship, and the enduring fascination with mistakes that accidentally create perfection. Whether it is the delicate doubling on Lincoln's profile, the off-center strike that creates a dynamic visual effect, or the rare copper planchet that defies standard production, every anomaly contributes to the coin's story and desirability. Collectors often describe the excitement of holding such a coin, imagining the moment it was struck at the U.S. Mint, the hands and machinery involved, and the chance occurrence that led to an error. This human element adds depth to the coin's narrative, making it more than just an object. It becomes a connection to the past, a piece of art shaped by history, and a symbol of the unpredictable nature of minting. As we continue to explore the world of rare coins, the 1945 wheat penny serves as a perfect illustration of how errors, mistakes, and anomalies can exponentially increase value, capturing the imagination of collectors around the globe. And with each auction and discovery, new stories emerge, further cementing the coin's legendary status and justifying its multi-million-dollar price tag. The combination of historical significance, rarity, visual appeal, documented provenance, and market demand creates a perfect storm that elevates the 1945 wheat penny from a simple 1-cent piece to a world-renowned collectible worth $22 million. And in conclusion, while Ordinary pennies pass unnoticed in pockets and cash registers. The 1945 wheat penny stands as a testament to the extraordinary potential hidden within the most humble of objects, reminding us that even in the ordinary, there can exist immense value, stories of human error, and opportunities for discovery that captivate collectors, historians, and investors alike, making this coin not just a piece of currency, but a timeless treasure and an icon of the fascinating world of numismatics, where every line, crack, and imperfection tells a story of chance, history, and unparalleled value. And for those who dare to hunt for these numismatic gems, the 1945 wheat penny remains the ultimate prize, representing the perfect blend of rarity, error, and history that can transform a simple penny into a $22 million masterpiece of the collecting world.